Hey everybody, welcome. It is Market Monday. I do apologize. We're a couple minutes after the hour, not the time we normally start. We normally start. Fortunately, this is just the nature of live streaming. Too windy, a little too crazy. I don't think we would have been able to hear the broadcast quite as clear as we'd want to. Tradeway is doing a lot of live broadcasts right now. We've got our Tradeway 5-day boot camp going on right now, where we're taking students who are advanced, students who are beginning, and taking them through a 5-day intensive program to learn how to trade the Tradeway system. It's the first time we've done it. It's actually really exciting. I got to do a few sessions today, so we are just hitting them back to back to back. And I thought, hey, why don't and we're back. I was just saying, for those of you who maybe missed it, we were doing a lot of live broadcasts around Tradeway today. And so I was looking for a little bit different location for us to meet today, and a little bit too windy to sustain that. I don't think the audio would have been quite what we want. So unfortunately, that's just how it goes. But we are doing these broadcasts because we've got that 5-day boot camp going on right now. Maybe some of you guys out there are in the boot camp. If you're in the boot camp, drop a comment. As always, let me know. Say hello. Tell me where you're from, what's going on in your world. This is open always for Q&A, right? I want to go ahead and do questions. You'll always hear me remind you guys of this as we're doing these broadcasts, no matter when we're doing them, that I want to hear from you guys as well, and especially on these Market Mondays when it comes to the markets themselves, which we're going to look at in a second. I definitely want to hear your questions. I want to hear your thoughts and just how you are experiencing that. So that said, we are in a little bit different location here, but that doesn't change what we are able to do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. Let's go ahead and go here. I want to show you guys the market. So let's go ahead and bounce over to here. So today we are looking at, as you've seen in the title, investing in your stock trading education, okay? Is it scary? Well, for some of us, maybe because it's unfamiliar, like everything else we've looked at on the list, right? It might be unfamiliar, but there's something I actually said in one of those sessions I was on today with the boot camp with one of our other coaches, Jared Russell. And it's been said before, and it's worth saying again right here, okay? When it comes to stock trading, we can do one of two things. Hopefully, we don't ever have to do both. And ideally, and you're going to hear me say this today, we really just choose one of them, and that's it. Okay, well, what do I mean? What am I saying? When it comes to stock trading education, the first thing to recognize is, as we've looked at stock trading, as we've looked at the markets, as we've looked at some of the pieces that I'm saying, it's not that scary. Okay, we can see that there's actually an approach to stock trading that is not guessing. It is not gambling. There's actually a step-by-step process that helps us get to the place as a trader that we need to be, okay? That is what Tradeway does. That is what we teach. That is what we do. So if there is a process, then there's something we can lead you through to build into you what we know as traders, right, that have been training people for over 10 years, the things we know you need, okay? So that's a hopeful thing because it's just a matter of taking somebody through the process. I mentioned the boot camp. We're trying to accelerate that process for the folks that joined that program for this week. Here on Market Mondays, I'm trying to do the same thing with you. Give you some solid information, give you exposure to what it is that we do so you can see that there is a consistent and precise approach to becoming a trader. It's not guesswork. It's not interpreting the news. It's not magic. Some people like to say about charting, which we're going to look at in a second. It's not magic. It's math. It's math. It's probabilities. It's human nature. Okay? All that is encouraging to me because I want to know that I can work further and further towards the goals that I have in the stock market. And that's what I'm trying to give you exposure to. So investing in your stock trading education, remember I said it's going to be one of two things. One, if you trade, right? If you trade, you're going to have an expense. It's impossible to trade and win every single trade. But let me add this. Without education, without knowing how to navigate that process I was just describing, what you're going to end up doing is, number one, you're going to end up losing money. You're going to spend money, lose money, put money at risk that is not necessarily going to be under the guidance of the best principles of what a trader needs to know. I'm going to give you an example, and I believe I said this last week. Amateurs think about money. Professionals consider risk. That one thing alone, unpacked practically on how we work through trades, is extremely important. Okay, it's extremely important for the process. I apologize for the noise here, guys. It's extremely important for the process, but if it's ignored, then we may just lose money to the market. Nobody wants to do that. So then we either just don't trade in the markets, or we trade and we pay the markets money that we don't need to pay the markets. Or we can assess, what are my needs right now as a trader? Do I need help getting started, right? Do I need help understanding how to do entries and exits? Do I need help understanding how my mindset is affecting my results? I'm getting really great results, but I want to go higher. I feel like I hit a ceiling and I can't push past that. Maybe I'm not getting the results. I make it and I give it back. It's what we call the boom and bust cycle in trading. I make it and then I give it back. I make it and then I give it back. Why is that? Why do I do that? Those are all things we see in students, right, on a regular basis. We see all those things because those are normal for traders who are employing the skill sets and discovering things about how they use those skill sets or about themselves, what they believe, what they think, that we help them work through. But that is something that they have chosen to invest in because they understand that if I'm going to trade, and this isn't just about trading, this is any skill set, right? Any business. What do you do before you start a business? Market research. How well do you know that business? How well do you know the market? How well do you know your target customer, right? You want to serve people in a business. That's what a business is. We solve problems, right? We solve problems for people. So in stock trading, I want to understand my market. I want to understand what it is that I'm doing before I go in, and we do that through education. Just pop back over here, see if we've got some questions from folks. Boot Camp Colorado was great. Homework good. So that's Tom. We got Jeffrey on there. Jeffrey, I know, is in the boot camp. Donna, looking for boot camp in South Austin. Well, the boot camp is actually online, so you can join us for the boot camp from anywhere. Donna, boot camp online at your home, says Tom. That's correct. Now, the first one's already started, okay? But there'll be more news about what we're going to do about that in the future. We've always got things coming up. I'll share some things with you later on this session that will give you an idea of where to go from here, because, of course, we're talking about that very thing, investing in your own education, okay? Taking the time to join us on these Market Mondays, that is a great start to investing in your education. You're investing time, okay? I've said this before. I hope this is clear. I value the time that you guys come and spend with me during this time on Monday afternoons. I know it's a sacrifice. I know it's a commitment. You've only got so much time in the day, and you're giving some of that time, but I think it's for an extremely worthy purpose, because if you want to change something, you've got to invest in it in a new way. I'm going to say that again. If you want to change something in your life, you've got to invest in it in a new way, okay? Jeffrey's got a question. I see your question there, Jeffrey. I'm going to go ahead and jump into something here, but I will not forget that you asked that question. I want to keep moving in a flow, and I will definitely make sure to get to that. So let's go ahead and share the screen again really quick, because we're going to pull up this guy right here. I want to go ahead and show you guys something here. Just takes a second to load up. Alrighty, there we go. So I'm just going to head over to the S&P 500. Remember what we talked about? S&P 500 is an index. Okay, this gives me a broad overview of the stock market. It's an index that shows me 500 different companies, all boiled down into this one chart. Now here's what I want to show you guys, because this is what we're talking about. Now, I can see the comments from you guys today, and I know a lot of you that are joining us today are in a program. You're already learning, so you know what this is like, and you can chime in and comment on any of this as we go along if you'd like. But I just want you to look at this reasonably. Look at what I've done here. Now, we talked about this before as well on Market Mondays. What am I doing? I'm looking for a pattern. Okay, I'm looking for a pattern, and then I'm looking to draw support and resistance. That is the absolute fundamental foundation of every single trade we have. We don't have a pattern, we don't have a trade. We don't have support and resistance, we don't know when to trade, right? We don't know when to get in and when to get out. So we don't have a trade if we don't have that either. It never gets replaced. It's a foundation we build on. We need a pattern, we need a support and resistance. One thing we teach in Tradeway, we teach multiple patterns. Okay, there are many different patterns and they operate, function differently. So we give you a bigger tool set to know what are some different patterns I'm seeing. What kind of information do I take from a chart when I see a pattern? Okay, some patterns go up, some patterns go down. Some patterns signal that the stock is transitioning. Okay, wouldn't you like to know, right? Wouldn't it be useful information if you knew when a stock was transitioning? Okay, and we've covered a little bit on this channel before of that very thing. So when I look at this chart, this again is the market. Let's just go back here. Okay, it's easy to go back in time and for me to go, well, guys, look at this amazing chart. You could have traded here and here and here and here and here, right? But it's in hindsight. So it's not really fair. It's not really fair to do it that way, right? Well, what does the system that we teach tell us? 3 points make a trend. 2 points make a line, right? We're drawing support and resistance. 2 points make a line. 3 points make a trend. Okay, we're looking for trends, patterns. 3 points make a pattern. So what do I have here? 1, 2, 3. You say, well, Blair, I don't know if we would have caught that first one there. Okay, fair enough. 4. Okay, by the time it's gone 1, 2, 3, 4, we've definitely got a trend here. We've got a pattern. And interestingly enough, not only does it go up here and up here and up here and up here, but when it fell, it hit that line and dropped and stopped again right here. So not only do I have support, 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 but I also have resistance. And sometimes old resistance becomes new support. So that only makes me more confident about these lines, okay? So it's reasonable, even though we're looking in hindsight, to say, okay, we've got ourselves a pattern here. Now, if you're one of our programs, and I'm talking about this today because, again, this is what we're talking about. Say it's not that scary, stock education. I'm going to talk a few reasons why it's not that scary, but number one is this a lot less scary than going out and doing two things. One, doing nothing to invest in your financial future. You're here, you're interested in stock trading, you're wanting to know more, you're wanting to see, hey, can I reach my goals? Other people reach their goals, but can I reach mine, right? If we do nothing, we get the same result. So that's option number one. Option number two is we could just go out and just try it blindly and just see what happens, okay? That's a much scarier decision financially than option number three, which is looking at, hey, is there some education that I could do? It's low risk, that would work for me. And if so, what would that even look like? Well, let's go back to the chart here. If we look at this, it goes up. What does it do? We got above, we broke out, right? And we teach this. It was an anomaly, which is fine. It's on the upside. We got in, it hit resistance here. If we were in the trade, if we got in there and we were in the trade here, we'd have most likely got out this day, possibly, this day, definitely. So we'd have been out of that. Is there a way you could have stayed in for that move? Yes, there is. There's a way that we teach our students how to take appropriate risk and not sell at resistance. You could actually stay in the trade. There's a simple tool we teach about called a trailing stop. Trailing stop. You could have potentially stayed in that trade, right? And depending on how you set the trailing stop, you might have got out this day. You might have stayed in those days here and got in, or excuse me, stayed in these green candlesticks, and then you would have got kicked out on those days. Not too shabby, especially if you started back here. So what do? Well, look, we got another hit at support there. Up we went to resistance, and off we went. We came back down to support. We moved up. Eventually right here, we hit resistance. We've gone sideways now. We haven't been able to come back down. We hit this 20-day moving average, which is why you see I've got the second line in here. And now we're in that kind of decision point. We're not really sure. And I've been telling our students, as have other coaches, here's the things we need to look for this week. We are going a little bit more sideways here. We've got a lot of news happening this week. This is Market Mondays, right? This is the beginning of the week. We can give a heads up on the market. So we're teaching our students what's going on with the Fed this week? What's going on in the news, to keep it simple? What's going on in the news? What companies have earnings? What are the things that Wall Street's paying attention to that you would want to know? Okay? What am I saying? I'm saying, do you feel like if you had this information that I just showed you, that would have been helpful for you to make better buying and selling decisions if you had been trading during this time? There's been a lot of negativity about the stock market. There's been a lot of negativity in the news. And even a lot of people have been saying, geez, this market sure is crazy. It sure is crazy. It sure is confusing. Well, I got to say, that's not how I've felt. That's not how a lot of us at Tradeway have felt. And the reason isn't just my personal bias. Look at this chart. That's what I would say. Look at this chart. This chart has been in a reliable, predictable, repeatable trend. And I've been posting as we've gone along day after day during this recovery, which is what we're looking at here on the screen. I've been posting every day. This is what's happening. This is what we watch out for. This is what we can learn from this. And then interacting with students. What are you needing? What are you doing? Right? What are you seeing out there? Our students are on our live broadcasts on Sunday and Monday nights. We're literally going out. We're looking at this very chart we're looking at right now. But then we're going through watch lists of stocks, and we're selecting specific stocks to look at for that week and helping them, students, walk through a potential play that they might do on any of those stocks. Okay, we're doing that for stock trades. We're doing that for options trades because lots of our students learn how to leverage the power of options, right? I can potentially make more and put significantly less in the trade. You say, Blair, how's that possible? I could potentially make more, but I put less in the trade. That's the power of options. That's why we have a lot of students that trade nothing but options. We go through all of that stuff in our programs. So again, what I want you to see is it not that scary? Well, again, look at the chart here. when you know how to make sense of what's happening objectively, when you have the support you need to ask questions, get encouragement, review, and go through the process that it takes for someone to become a trader, right? When you have that in place, it's not that scary. It's not that scary. It's considerably less scary than, like I said, the opposite. Let's just do nothing, or let's just give it a go. And I can tell you, doing live events, and I've said this on here before, I would meet students and we would be in a live class and they'd be very interested. But there's something where we feel like, you know what, I just want to see if I can just wing it and make it happen on my own. And invariably, I'd see those same people come back a year or two later and just say, you know what, this is something I really want to do. I'm really interested in doing this. Life got in the way, but I want to come back and I want to get started. And of course, we're happy to see that. It's just a matter of, whether or not we want to use that time differently, and I'm guilty of that too at times. So I absolutely believe that this is something that does not have to be scary, but rather is something that can give us incredible clarity and courage and hope, because we want to see change for our future, okay? Transitioning and pivoting is super key to getting the best buy point, says Robert. Yes, transitioning and pivoting is super key. Look at the lines I had on there, okay? I've got support, I've got resistance. If that shows me where a stock is going to pivot, that's exactly how our system helps us take potentially profitable opportunities. Why do I say potentially? Because we're never guaranteed. It's not about being guaranteed. That's not what trading is. Trading is about finding an opportunity, an edge that has a higher probability of doing what we want than it would otherwise. That's what patterns and support and resistance help us do. So Robert is right. Pivots. If I know where pivots are going to happen, could that help me in my trading? Of course it could. It would help me know stocks I should never get into. We're going to help you do that. It would help me know when to get in stocks that are good opportunities. But I've said this a couple times in the boot camp today. I'll share it with you guys too. We don't actually make any money, right? If we're in a trade and it's profitable, we don't actually get any of that until we get out. So we got to know how to get out of the trade, and we've got to know how to control ourselves so that while we're in the trade, we do what we said we were going to do, right? So it's not ultimately complicated, but we need somebody to help us uncomplicate it by leading us through bite-sized chunks, okay? And we've got opportunities to do that. And again, we've got plenty of students who are on here today that are a part of those programs already. And we're just seeing some really, really awesome stuff happen with people on these broadcasts that we've been doing. Questions answered, revelations, breakthroughs, and that's exactly why we exist. So that said, I want to tell you guys, we've got a couple of things for those of you who say, you know what, I'm hungry to move forward. I've been on these broadcasts. I know more about what you guys are like and what it is you're doing. I always say this to people in the live events. I always say, obviously we haven't had a live event in a while, but I always say this to people. The scripture says, keep the Lord always before you. Keep the Lord always before you. And this isn't a different moment. And so I always encourage people, as you're sitting through this live broadcast, if you join us on Wednesdays, if you're with us for anything else, if you're ever with us in a live event again, certainly you would hear me say the same thing, that as we go through, just be engaging with God, listening to Him. What does He have for you? How does He want to bring transformation and change into the financial area of your life? We want to practically partner with those of you who are ready to take that step. We want to practically partner with those of you who want to learn to fly, as we say around here at Tradeway, your own financial plane. Okay, that's what we do. That's what we teach people to do. So I'm going to introduce you to something. It's called Trader Pro, okay? Trader Pro, and we have a Trader Max program. Now, simply put, and as soon as we finish the broadcast, I'm going to post links about this, okay? So you'll be able to look at them. Again, unfortunately, it doesn't allow me to post the link while we're in the broadcast, but I will post it directly after. And what this is this is going to give you access, okay, to what I've been talking about, the nightly broadcasts that we do, the daily interaction with me, the charts that I'm posting. You're going to get access to the options training, okay? All of that kind of stuff is included on there. And here's the cool thing, okay? This specifically is just a monthly subscription now. You used to have to buy a product from us to do all of our options training. That would cost upwards around $10,000, and it would be a lifetime benefit to you. And even now, there are some people who are still joining that program, and it is a lifetime benefit. It includes spouse and kids. It's an amazing deal. But for those of you who maybe are at a spot right now who say, you know what, I'm really interested, I want to learn more, I want to have that support, I want somebody to lead me through that process, is there something I can do where it's not as much of a commitment right off the bat, but I get the same great service, I still get the great material? Yes, absolutely. That's our Trader Max and our Trader Pro programs, okay? The Trader Pro is specifically includes some more advanced strategies for you, okay? We try to give you, I always talk about the stock market as though it has the 4 seasons, if you will. The stock market changes seasons. We had some of those seasons this year, a bear market, and now we're more so in a bull market. Eventually, the bull market cools off and it goes sideways. Okay, so we give you different tools for every season of the market, and in time, we lead you through how to use those tools. But specifically, that Trader Pro has all of those tools for each season. Your Trader Max is going to give you what you need to trade in this current environment, the bull market, okay? Buying stocks, buying options when it's going up, okay? Buying options when it's going up, and even doing some options trades to make money when it's going down. Yes, that's right. You can make money. I talked about this in our last series. You can make money when the market is going down with what we call the put option, okay? So it's just a monthly charge. Again, I'm going to post that information for you. It will be something that you can join, you can get exposure to, you can cancel at absolutely any point, okay? And you're going to get access to people like me. I'm in there every single day. It won't be a brand new face. I mean, there will be some new faces. You'll get to meet some new people around Tradeway, but it's not going to be totally different, right? And it's not disconnected. You're going to have broadcasts with me. I do them every week. I just started, for our people in this program, I started doing a Saturday broadcast. We're coming together. We're going over the material. We're doing questions and answered. There's a personal touch to it. There's somebody there who answers your questions, leads you through the material. You'll have your own online profile. You'll have your own online video library. You'll have a place where you can ask questions. I will help review your trading, going over stuff like that. So it is a phenomenal deal, okay, to be able to be in these programs. And again, I will post that link for you. So you have access to so much stuff in there, okay? So this is going to be, just going to pull up something really quick here while we're talking. I said I was going to post that link right after, so I will go ahead and I will do that for you. Specifically, you're looking at just less than a couple $100 a month, okay? To literally just begin to invest in transforming your financial future, okay? Because again, if you want something new, we've got to invest in a new way. This gives you a way to have access to meaningful content, meaningful mentorship, and it gives you the opportunity to do it at a very low risk. Because if it's not what you want it to be, if it's not what you'd hoped it would be, then you have the opportunity to cancel. Of course, we're very confident at Tradeway. Our program has never been better, never been stronger, and I am a wholehearted believer in that. And so I'm definitely extending the offer to you. Come join one of these programs. I'll post that link. Let me show you more of what this can do for you, and then we'll continue on that journey together. Of course, that said, I'm always going to be on here on Mondays as well, but for those of us who are, again, ready to jump into the process of really moving forward and seeing greater levels of breakthrough in how we approach the markets and knowing what it is that we can do. And again, that's that Trader Pro membership, where we're going to give you the right tool for the right job. And again, I like to use the seasons. We wear different clothes in different seasons. In the natural, right, the natural world is just intuitive. We just know to do that. Well, we can learn to do that in the trading world too. If somebody teaches us the tool for winter, we have it, and that's what Trader Pro does. And in Trader Pro, we even go through daily. You get access to a community page where every single day we're using virtual trading to actively look at real trades, show you how would you execute those trades. It's always your decision whether or not you want to trade anything and whether or not you want to use real money or you want to virtually trade. But we're going to take you through it step by step by step and then actually show you real plays, right? Like I said, we're going to help you work on the inside. We're going to help you work on the execution as well. Okay, so if you've got any questions about any of that, go ahead and drop it in the comments there as well. Going back to that chart that we looked at just a few minutes ago, that is the kind of stuff you're going to get from us every day. I feel like this bears repeating. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, man, it's just so confusing. This market is so confusing. Well, a famous trading coach said this once: if the markets seem mysterious, and I'm going to use the word confusing, if this market seem mysterious or confusing to us, the reality is that the confusion exists in us, not in the markets. And once we learn how to, what's the word I'm looking for here, guys? Once we learn how to organize that information effectively, the confusion begins to evaporate. Confidence begins to come into its place. And then we can be decisive. And a decisive trader is a strong trader. Okay? When we have an edge and we know what we are looking for, when we're looking for it, and we do what we said we were going to do, now we're getting dangerous. And that's exactly what this program is designed to help you do. So that is the Trader Pro program, where we've got a tool for every job, the right clothes for every season. Digest, Jeffrey says digest, the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it too. We're digesting a lot of information. But you know what? We're learning how to take it in healthy doses, and we're learning how to work through it in a way that's effective. You guys are, hey, we've got enough people even just on this broadcast. I guarantee not everybody on this broadcast is going to learn exactly the same way. You don't all have the same risk tolerance, right? You don't have the same risk tolerance. So we work with a lot of different students that have a different risk profile. We want to help you understand, well, how does, I'm going to just use names here, Jeffrey, how does he operate effectively versus, say, Tom or Donna? Okay, that might work a little bit different. The point is, your personality, who you are, that's somebody we can work with to figure out, how do you do this at your best? That's something that you don't have to figure out on your own, but something that we can help you find out. Jeff Jones got a question for us. What does it mean when we're looking at stocks and it has a deal saying 9 days to earnings call? It's a fantastic question. And we have a couple of very prominent and non-negotiable rules in our system that comes really pertaining to this very question. So to answer that directly, when it says 9 days to earnings call, it means that the company you're looking at has an earnings call, an earnings report. Companies that are publicly traded are required by law to report earnings 4 times a year, once a quarter. That once a quarter report is the quarterly earnings report, and with an earnings report, they always do an earnings call. Okay, it's a call where they come out and they tell investors, this is where we're at, this is what our earnings is, this is what our guidance or our outlook for the next quarter or the next several quarters looks like. And then Wall Street digests all that information, and it tends to be a time, most of the time, that's very volatile for a stock. So we have specific rules designed to protect the trader around those earnings calls, because again, they can be very volatile times. We think it's going to do one thing and then it does the other. Apple recorded record profits. Ooh, that's good. That must mean it's going to go up, right? Oh, but they also said they sold several million less iPhones than they thought they were going to. Well, that's not so good. And then the stock gaps down, right? So we have some rules there that protect us. So Jeff, excellent question. Thank you for asking that. So with that said, guys, I invite you. It's not that scary. It's not that scary. And I hope over the weeks on these broadcasts, you've been able to see, meeting me, that this is the kind of stuff we want to impart to you. We want to help you be successful. There, of course, have been many other students that have commented on here. They are a part of these programs. So that is a resource for you as well, just hearing from them and knowing that we've got tens of thousands of students in our programs that are on the journey. We just invite you to join us on the journey, low risk. Come build another level of trust. We take it very seriously. That's something we'd love to do with you. And ultimately, we'd love to see you move forward and go towards the goals that you have for you and yours. That's what we're committed to helping you do. And we'd love to see you in there. I will pop this link in the comments immediately following the broadcast. And we will see you on Wednesday for our regular scheduled Wednesday session, the Wednesday Wisdom. We started a new series last week, Living at the Highest Level. It all flows into everything you're doing, including trading. So I hope you'll join us for that. And again, if you have any questions, you can let me know right there on the comments, and I will get back to you, okay? Thank you so much, guys, for joining, for sticking with me, and we will see you.